Welcome to the third lecture. In this lecture, we are going to study open source licenses. This is also part of chapter 17, which is Societies, Laws, and Ethics. So let's start. What are open source licenses? Open source licenses are the licenses that comply with the open source definition. They allow software to be freely used, modified, and shared. So open source software license include GPL, which is the General Public License, LGPL, which is Leisure General Public License, BSD, Berkeley Software Distribution License, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology License, and Apache licenses. We are going to study these different licenses in details, how they are different, and what are the main motive or the main aim in these licenses, etc. Okay. Open source license kan ti chuan open source software ho in an kentel nge tur among tu tin an acceptor in tiam kamna lampang kha ako ka chu tiang chu tam deuh GPL te LGPL te BST te MIT license le Apache license te kha a oma wangin zirangaya chung ho chu tun lecture kan zir tur te chu ani. Alright, let's talk about GPL first. The GNU GPL, okay, the GNU General Public License. So it is an open source license that grants and allow user to legally copy, distribute, or modify the software. You are free to copy, you are free to distribute, or you are free to modify if you can, right? It also allows to charge as fee to distribute the modified version, but should still be under GNU CPL. As per this GPL license, you can even charge some fee for distribution charges, okay, but not the software charges, distribution charges. Okay, so but you cannot use this as the business item. So even though you charge a few monies or a few fees for distribution, it should come under the GNU GPL licenses. Okay, so this is the logo of GNU General Public License. When you say GNU, they usually use this logo. Now, GNU LGPL. The GNU Leisure General Public License is similar to GPL. I just explained what is GPL. I hope you understand. This is similar to GPL, but it is used to license free software so that it can be incorporated into both free software with proprietary software. Okay, this lesser GPL allowed the free software to be categorized or to be used under free software or with proprietary software. Okay, with LGPL, the requirement to release software extension in OpenGPL is removed, and therefore GPL is used by library. All right. Let me explain in Mizo for clarity. GPL chuan software kha kan copyan phala kan manan phala chuan midang kan pek chuan po an phal ta ni chuan khata khan paisa tlema zong po lak kha an phala software sem kwal vel nan khan chumi ang chung song song chu keng telin lesser GPL chuan hang kan software kan thil siam chu te kha kan du chuan free software anga pek chu emo kan du chuan le ngai tu re siam anga pek chu kha aphal sakta ni atlang pui thu chuan lesser GPL noya software and release te hi libraries and data software extension ani berang chu software in until ti the anti atam le zol na na extension ho khani ta khang ho kha a software free ma se a extension kha free lo the ta ni chumi a free lo extension software library thil ti the nan an man ho kha lesser GPL akan andu chuan anda tel thea sum don nan te po a software ni lawin akha abel na athil ti the na tora software and siam bel na libraries extension ho kha sum an low charge the ta ni and tinan red hat linux po khan atira ti khan free charger in an han ti a tuna po a free version chu om tho ma se professional version an tia chu enterprise version an tia chu a thabi ka an siam thil ti tam thei tur an siam le ni ta chu poisa an charge ta ni chu LGPL noya khan akal thei don ti na ni chu. Alright, let's talk about the next license, which is Berkeley Software Distribution Licenses. It represents a family of permission-free software licenses that have fewer restrictions on distribution compared to GPL. There are two versions of BSD licenses. Here, BSD license he GPL license ayin apal sauzo ka apal ka anay claim sok tani. Chuan GPL license hi version pani siam anita. So the first version is also known as three clause licenses. It allow unlimited redistribution for any purpose as long as its copyright notices and disclaimers of warranties are maintained. The new BSD license states that you can redistribute that software any number of times, okay, but the condition is it should include it must include the copyright notices and terms and agreement or disclaimer. That means the original author should not be removed. All right. Another one is the simplified BSD licenses. It is different from new BSD license in the sense that the letter omit non-endorsement clause. Okay. Non-endorsement clause is omitted in the simplified BSD license. Okay. Non-endorsement means the warranty or the disclaimer can be removed. Okay, it can be omitted under the simplified BSD licenses. You can redistribute it any number of times with copyright notices. And the MIT license. The another license is Massachusetts Institute of Technology license. This is created by one of the best institute or one of the best university in the world, which is MIT, and this license is the shortest and the broadest open source licenses. Among the different licenses that we studied and we are going to study, this one is the shortest and the broadest. As per MIT licenses, you can use, copy, modify, give out free or sell it. Oh, MIT license even allowed to sell that software. The only restriction is that it is accompanied by the license agreement. So in brief, the MIT license states that you can do whatever you want, okay? Broadest. You can do whatever you want, but the only restriction is the license agreement must be there. Okay, this is MIT license. And the final license is Apache licenses. The Apache license grants a number of rights to users that can be applied to both copyrights and patent software. The Apache license offers rights that are perpetual or worldwide, granted no fees or royalty or exclusive or irrevocable. Okay, but the redistributing code required giving proper credit to the contributors. When we say contributor, it means the different volunteers who contribute to the development of that software. For example, we have Apache Firefox, which is one of the most popular browser. In that browser, there are many persons involved in that. Okay, so those person names should be credited and should be mentioned in that software. That is the Apache license. Other thing is that it can be copied, it can be redistributed, it can be modified, but the condition is the uh, contributors and the license agreement must be there, and that's Apache licenses. And let's talk about public domain software versus proprietary software. Public domain software is free and can be used without restriction, while proprietary software is not free and user has to buy in order to use it. When you say public domain, it is free software. When you say proprietary software, it is paid software, okay? And public domain software include freeware, copyleft software, while proprietary software include copyright software that are not free and not available in public. And source code is not accessible in proprietary software, while source code is available for modification in open source software. All right, I hope you understand the difference between public domain software and proprietary software. Let me repeat: public domain software means free software, proprietary software means paid software. You need to pay. So here a quick quiz. Which one of the following is not allowed as per open source licenses? All right. Um, as far as I know, the open source licenses allowed to use, allowed to modify, allowed to share, but most of the open source license agreement did not allow to sell that software. And which one of the following is the least restricted open source license agreement? There are different open source license agreement. Among the different open source license agreement, the MIT license is the least restricted and license among the open source licenses. All right. If you have any questions, you can ask me anytime. All right.